Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Pencils and Lipstick. This is episode 319, and today is the last episode of this season. We will be back in August. So it is mid-July, and we are going to take a break. But I have one last interview for you. And in fact, I have a ton of interviews coming up for you in August as well. I hope that you've been having a great time listening this season. We've had so many wonderful guests on the show. Everyone who is approaching their indie authorship in a slightly unique way, which I think is amazing because all of us are trying to do something a little bit different, right? So we will actually also be back with Craft and Connect in August as well. So keep working on your marketing, keep, trying to chip away at something. If anything, if you're going to work on anything, work on your newsletter. Figure out what you're going to talk about in your newsletter, figure out who you're going to have host your newsletter, and then start trying to find those fans. I know that that is the hardest. That is definitely the hardest thing to do. But it is possible. And in fact, starting with some collaborations with other authors is probably the best way to do it. So finding other authors who write what you write and seeing if you can share each other's books and just get on Story Origin. It's actually especially if you're starting out, it's cheaper than BookFunnel, and you probably won't need all of the bells and whistles that BookFunnel has just yet. And in fact, Story Origin has quite a bit anyway. Also, write a little lead magnet, write a short story or maybe something from the point of view of your character and put it out there and have that sort of as that enticing little nugget for your newsletter. If you want to find out more about newsletters, I will be talking about newsletters in a summit coming up, but you will find out about all those things if you sign up to my email list, the writer's email list, which is always linked in the show notes, but it will be the World Shift 2026 Summit. It is hosted by Heather Davis, and I will be talking all about how to set up your author newsletter, why you need to set it up, and then going through some lead magnet ideas and email, like actually ideas on what to write in your email. So check that out. Follow me on Instagram, follow Heather Davis, but get on my writer's newsletter and you will get all the information about all the summits that I ever talk on. So if you're in Virginia, I will be speaking at the Virginia Writers Association symposium on August 1st. That will also be really fun. I'll be doing my favorite thing that I talk about is how to create a story around the character that haunts you. So I am very excited about that, talking in person. Usually it's just me behind the mic here all by myself and possibly my children hearing me. But yeah, in person will be something different. So I want you guys to enjoy summer. We're actually slowing down a little bit. Two children are going to grandma's house. The other kid is working. And so I am really hoping to finish the historical romance. I've actually been busy writing a short story, like besides the family stuff, for this contest that I signed up for, and then a first chapter for another thing that I signed up for. And now I'm going to really hunker down and get the historical romance. And I will be honest, there's like a resistance in me that because it's just been such such a like busy last few months that there's a little bit of doubt on if I can do it. So I know that I can. I just got to give my brain that space. I think some of the doubt comes from if I can remember what it is that I had decided to change. And I know I wrote it down somewhere. Ugh, it's somewhere over there in all the notebooks that I have. But I know that I'm probably not alone in that sort of like resistance or that doubt or that, oof, I'm going to look for anything else, you know, housework or whatever, other than doing like sitting down and writing. So I get that. I'm there with you. My biggest piece of advice is to sit down and do it anyway. Sit down and write it out. And even if it's something that ends up being tossed, the more that you write, the closer you're going to get to what it is that you want to say. Okay. So if we sit in our head all day long, and in our doubt, we're really not going to get any closer. Like waiting for the kind of that inspiration or that feeling to come is you're going to be waiting a lot longer than if you sit down and try to write it out. Now, that is just my advice. Obviously, you guys can do anything that you want, but I am really, really hoping to do this a little bit of an experiment of starting tomorrow, um, rewriting the entire thing in 2 weeks. So you guys will hold me to that. I will let you know in August if it happened. Might as well have a personal challenge. So, as I said in the beginning, we have an interview today. It's with Jane Daly. She writes Christian romance. We talk a lot about like the difference of the genre, what is expected, and her like the books that are coming out. She has them set in Gold Country, which is pretty fun. They're not just romances. She has quite a few different sort of tweaked like genre differences there, like billionaire and some sort of suspense romance, so the romance category has so many different like branches off of it, and she writes quite a few of them. So it is a really interesting talk with her, but there's also that touch of if you want to be included in Christian fiction, what that means, what has to be included or what can't be included, all those different things. These are things that we really have to understand as authors when we're choosing our categories, right? And it's probably better to understand that as you're writing the story than to sort of get to the end of it and have to either change everything or change the category that you expected to be in. So stick around for that interview. We are going straight into that. But even though we are taking a break, if you have enjoyed Pencils and Lipstick this past season, it would really help if you would write a review either on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or YouTube. If you subscribe, you will be notified when we get back, which will be August 17th will be the week that we're back. So really it's not that too long of a break. So if you subscribe on any of the channels, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or any of the other, hundreds of podcast apps out there, you will be notified, but reviews always help, and share with your other writer friends. It's always fun to see how many more people are listening every week. You guys definitely help that to help get the word out. As you know, I am not the greatest at getting the word out. I can do the work. It's getting the word out. And if you want to be on Pencils and Lipstick, think you need to be thinking ahead. So I'm already booked up into October, but you have to have 3 books published. So you have to have some sort of experience in the indie author world, or if you have a product that you think indie authors should know about, pitch me. You can get on my writer's newsletter and respond. You can pitch me through a DM on TikTok or Instagram. My website, you can pitch me there. Sometimes it takes a little bit to get through the pitches. Sometimes they go to spam, but I will find it. But 3 books, if you're an author, you have to have 3 books. And tell me what you would like to talk about. But if you want it to line up with a launch, just be thinking ahead, right? Okay. So without further ado, we're going to get into our last interview of this season. We are talking with Jane Daly. She writes out of her motorhome. They are living the motorhome life, which is really interesting, just like how she gets her writing done. Her novels have won the Cascade Award from the Cascade Christian Writers organization and was a semi-finalist for a Carol Award. So she definitely knows what she is doing. So without further ado, let's go talk with Jane Daly. Okay, hello everyone. We are back. This will be the end of June as you are listening to us, and I have Jane Daly with me. Hi, Jane. How are you doing?
I am great. Thank you for having me.
You are calling us from your motorhome, which you guys have decided to just live out in the wild. I feel like. How long have you been
Basically,
doing that?
yes. We started about 4 years ago. Uh,
Wow.
we had always had this dream of someday we're going to sell everything, buy a motorhome, travel the United States. And
Yeah.
4 years ago, all of the stars lined up and
Yep.
everything worked. And we said, okay, let's pull the trigger. And we did.
But it's one thing to say it and it's another thing to do it. Like kudos to you for actually doing it. I feel like we all talk a lot. We talk a big talk sometimes.
We do. And yeah, it was always on the back burner. Someday we're going to
Yeah, of
do this.
course.
And now we're doing it and we have not looked back. We're looking at maybe another 5 years. But,
Wow.
that all depends. It all
Yeah,
depends on our health, the economy,
right.
all of these unknowns. But that's the plan is another 5 years.
Wonderful. So far, what's your like biggest surprise? Like, I don't know whether however to categorize that, like enchanting surprise or like, oh, I thought I would like this or I loved it more as you traveled the US.
I think I'm surprised that, well, a couple of things. Number one, living with another person in a 400 square foot box is really difficult. And
It's
I
like
have a,
college again.
well, yeah, except that you're supposed to love this
Yeah.
person.
You can't just like close the door and leave, but you have to
Right.
talk to them.
Right. You can't just go down to the quad and have coffee. You're pretty much stuck. But surprisingly, how we've made it work
Yeah.
because we've always been really close and we've been best friends. So
Yeah.
we make it work. Um, but I do have a newsletter that I put out every month. It's called Rigsby on the Road because our rig is named Eleanor Rigsby, and the takeoff from the Beatles song. But I have a newsletter that I talk about our travels and what it's like, and it is a challenge, really. So it's easy. It's an easy lifestyle, but it's also hard. So
Yeah.
I guess there's so many little surprises along the way that are both, wow, this is a great serendipitous thing. And then there's also, oh, seriously, we have to deal with this. For instance, I'll give you a real quick story.
Yeah.
So we bought our motorhome 4 years ago, and last summer, our refrigerator died. And
Ugh.
so we had a guy come out, he serviced it, he did some voodoo magic, and it worked for like 2 days, and then it went out again. So we discovered that, okay, it's dead, we have to buy a new refrigerator. But you can't just go down to Lowe's or Home Depot or wherever, Walmart, and buy a refrigerator. It has to be an RV refrigerator. So
Right.
a new refrigerator for an RV is about $2,300.
Oh my
Yes. And then you have to have it installed, which is another $1,500 because they have
God.
to,
$1,500.
yes, they have to pull the old one out and then take your door off and take the doors off and then reinstall it. So, um, got the new refrigerator. We're happy. We leave Colorado. We come here to Tennessee, and the refrigerator dies.
No.
So our brand new refrigerator is now dead. And now we have to deal with warranty because, of course, the new one's under warranty, which took forever. So
I
we lived
bet.
without a refrigerator for probably a good 3 months, living out
No.
of an ice chest. So we
No.
have the new refrigerator. It's been installed about, I think, maybe a month, and we're loving life and we're okay now. But yeah, that is one of the big surprises of living in a motorhome is you don't just go down and buy the $900 refrigerator
Right.
freezer. It is really expensive.
It makes sense, but yeah, you wouldn't necessarily budget for that. Like, oh my
Exactly.
gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So now you have some ideas of how our grandmothers lived when they got the ice
Yes.
delivered.
Yeah. Oh, yes. We went through so much ice.
Crazy. Like, can you imagine living like that, like all the time? Like, I guess that's just your life. And how much bad meat people used to eat. Like, I think about that sometimes. I'm like,
That
ugh.
is true. Yes.
People
Oh,
just sort of dealt with it. I think our delicate stomachs these days are too used to good food. But
I think we're definitely wimps compared to our grandparents.
oh, for sure. My grandmother picked cotton at age 5. Like I am a big old wimp compared to her. Yeah. Oh my goodness. So you've been in the doing this for 4 years. Where do you write? Do you write inside the motorhome?
I do, yes.
Okay.
Um, my husband and I have an agreement, and he will
That
say,
signed contract.
"What are you doing?" And I will say, "I'm writing," and he will say, "Fine." He puts on his headphones. He loves to watch stuff on his iPad, or he'll go out and have coffee with somebody or have breakfast, knowing
Okay.
that I just need time.
Time.
One thing that I have I've revamped my schedule is I try to get up early. I
Mm.
have time when I read my Bible, and then I start writing because he likes to sleep in. So
Oh,
he'll
okay.
sleep in. It gives me a good hour to get some words down, and then
Yeah.
later in the day I can do some more. But I definitely I sit at the table, and that's my writing space, and I just plug it, plug those words in.
Okay. So how do you deal with internet? Do you just have it like a data setup or
No, we use internet at the campground.
oh,
Every
okay.
campground that we've ever stayed in has internet, and we just use theirs, and it works fine. It's pretty
Nice.
powerful.
Okay. All right. I guess too, if you're writing on the road, you won't be checking your Facebook. You'll be writing if you actually write. That might be actually better.
Well, I took all of my social media off my phone because it was way too distracting.
Mm.
So, about 3 weeks ago, I decided I was going to do a complete social media fast.
Okay.
I've broken it a little bit because my husband sends me these stupid cat videos on messengers.
It's funny. Yes, I know.
I click on that, and then I get stuck scrolling again. I'm like, this is such a time suck.
I
I
know.
need to be doing something else. So, yeah, I am not tempted to check my Facebook while I'm on the road. No.
Yeah, we do get sucked into this kind of stupid loop. Like I find over and over again where I'm like, this is boring because I've been just scrolling. Like there's nothing new. And I really think it zaps our creativity. Like it just zaps that part of our brain. And you're just like kind of staring at the wall. Like, oh my gosh. So I kind of make it a point to not check it. First of all, like, what is there to check really? You know, but don't check it until after writing, at least, because it won't get done. The writing won't get
That's
done.
exactly it. It's way too easy, as you know, as a writer and author, it's way too easy to get distracted because we know that sitting down at the computer is going to require a certain amount of discipline.
Right.
And our self does not want discipline.
No,
We want fun, we want easy, we want distraction.
we want cat videos.
Yes, we want funny cat videos. So it's hard to say, okay, I am going to sit down because I think for me, if I sit down to write, I think, oh my gosh, I have nothing to say. Oh
Mm-hmm.
no, I don't know where my plot is going.
Mm-hmm.
You referenced a book in your podcast on everybody's writing process is different. You referenced
Mm-hmm.
a book that I have read more than one time. It was called 2000 to 10,000.
Yes.
And
Great book.
I don't write 10,000 words a day. Well, most of the time. We'll talk about that later. But that book helped me so much just before I sit down to say, okay, what am I going to write about today? What scenes am I going to write, and have an idea of what I'm going to write before I sit down? Because if I
Yes.
don't, just like every other writer, we're like, well, I'm going to put off doing that because it's going to be hard. I'm going to
Yep.
sit down. I have to discipline myself to write, and I don't know what I'm going to say.
Yep. And then you run the risk of writing something that you're going to toss because it's just not
Right.
going anywhere. That honestly, that point of the book, that's worth all the money. Like that one paragraph or page that she goes into. And it's so mind blowing and so simple. Like
Right.
I couldn't believe I hadn't thought of it because I'm kind of crap at outlining. Like sometimes I'll write ideas down, but sitting down right before you're writing to orientate and just focus and be like, this is what I want to write about. So simple, so doable.
Right. Mind blowing. Mind
Yes.
blowing.
Yes.
When I teach, I've taught a class at some writers' conferences called How to Write Faster. And I referenced that book. There's another book, and I can't remember the title of it offhand, and I'll probably think of it later, that also uh, talks about how to increase your writing speed.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing is to just sit down and free write for even 10 minutes and then get your word count and then multiply that by 6 to get how much you can write per hour. And then you can kind of figure out, well, if I write an hour, I can get 1,500 words down.
Yeah.
That'll be a great quota for today.
Right. Right. Right.
Or two
And if,
hours,
and then if you
3,000.
like have what you're going to write about, you can literally write a chapter in a day, feel great about yourself in 2 hours or less, and go on about your day. Like, because
Then go back to
most,
your cat videos.
and most writers have, a lot of them are still working or, are doing other things, caretakers, whatever you are. So that's, I think, where the overwhelm comes in, where you're like, oh, I have a couple hours on Saturday morning to write, and then I'm going to go to the coffee shop, and then I'm going to write, but I don't know what I'm going to write. And so I pick up my phone and I scroll, and then I don't know what I write, and I feel guilty. And it's this vicious cycle. And like that 2000 to 10,000, just like,
It
breathe a sigh of
clicked.
relief. And just feel like,
I
okay.
highly recommend that book. It's an easy read, and I
Yeah.
read through it every few months when I feel like, okay, I'm kind of stuck. Now,
Mm-hmm.
what do I do? Reading books on craft is something that I would recommend to every author, whether
Mm-hmm.
you're beginning or even you've multi-published. Even
Yeah.
so, one of my heroes and my favorite authors is James Scott Bell. He continually reads books on writing and rereads books on the craft. So I think it's good for anybody to continue to study, and even if you just pick up one little thing from a craft book, it's worth it.
Yes. Yes. I think writing, and I say it so many times, is the only craft where people, for some reason, think that they don't need any instruction on. And it's like every great artist, no matter what art it is, they have had a coach, they have had a mentor, they have had like singing lessons, everyone has had some sort of lesson. Even if they come up self-taught, they eventually get coaching or lessons or mentorship, right? And that's how you grow in it. Like you cannot just grow in your little tiny, head.
Well, and it's practice, just
Yeah.
like playing the piano or learning a new language.
Right.
If you don't practice, you will not get better. And how do you
Right.
get better at writing? Well, you write.
You're right. You got to finish that writing.
Yes,
So when did you start writing? Did you start before you decided to sell everything and go traveling?
I did. Yeah, I started. Right. I had always said, I'm going to write a book someday,
Mm-hmm.
just like everybody else. I'm going to write a book. I'm going to write a book. And I think it was the end of 2009, and I had to take some time off work because of some health issues.
Mm-hmm.
And I was, kind of bored, and I was just praying, and I felt like the Lord said, now, like now you need to write that story that's been rumbling around in your head for the last few months. And so I sat down and started to write. Life interrupted. Our son got sick. He ended up passing away in
Oh, I'm sorry.
2010. My dad passed away in 2010. And so that all of that was kind of
Oh,
put on the shelf.
yeah.
Then I took it back up maybe a year or two later, finished a novel, and then I was chatting with agent, and we were talking about just life in general. And he said, "Have you ever?" He was an acquisitions editor, not an agent. He said, "Have you ever thought about writing a book about your son's death?" And I said, "Yeah, I thought about it, but I don't know." And he goes, "Well, if you did write that book, I might be interested in taking a look at it." So in my
Okay.
mind, I went, bling, maybe I don't want to be a novelist. Maybe I want to be a nonfiction
Oh,
writer.
nonfiction writer.
So I wrote this book. It went through Harvest House. It went all the way up to the editorial committee, I think, and they decided that they didn't like it because it would have too narrow of a focus. So I found another publisher.
What? That seems
Well,
crazy.
they said books on grief don't sell well, and I get that. They
I
really don't.
mean, Okay, really?
Yeah. Well, unless
Oh,
you're somebody like Gerald Sitzer, who wrote A Grace Disguised. I mean, his book has sold millions of
that's
copies, and
interesting.
it's about his losing his wife and his mother-in-law and two of his kids.
Oh my gosh, that's
But
rough.
anyway, I found another publisher.
But
So a
was it for a
traditionally,
Christian audience or was it for a general
yes,
audience?
it
Okay,
was for Christian.
interesting.
So I got that one published in
Oh, so you
2015.
did get it. Okay.
I did get
Oh,
it
5 years
published.
later. Okay.
And while I was, mulling over, hey, maybe I want to be a nonfiction writer instead of a novelist, I had an idea that I thought, we're caring for my mom. We cared for my dad before he died. Now we're caring for my mom. I wonder if there's other people out there who are struggling with the same thing. So I started asking a bunch of friends my age. They were all like, oh my goodness, yes, we need a book on how to do this because we can't navigate this caregiving thing.
Yeah, it is
So
a
I
lot.
approached Focus on the Family and I said, I have this idea. What do you think? And
You
they
just
said,
approached them like
I did. Like, why not? Um, so they ended up publishing my book, The Caregiving Season. So it was published, I think, in
Oh.
2016.
Oh, I didn't know that they
And
published books.
well, they published through Tyndale, but it is Focus on the
Okay, through
Family,
Tyndale.
Tyndale
Yeah.
Publishing.
Okay.
So yeah, they published it, and
Nice.
uh, I felt like I was on a roll. But then I
Yeah.
was like, you know what? I really just want to write fiction. I just want to write
Mm.
books. So I started writing another novel, and I know that you listen to Thomas Umstattd
Hmm.
podcast,
Yeah.
and one of his 10 commandments is thou shalt not publish thy first book first. So that novel that I wrote after my son died was still kind of moldering. So I wrote another book and I ended up, I found an agent and I ended up getting that one traditionally published. So since then, I've been traditionally published. All of
Okay.
my books are traditionally published.
Where are you published through? The same or different
I am
houses or one?
published. I'm published with Elk Lake Publishing, and then I publish with Winged Publications. I have a series of three, two, three-book series that are strictly romance.
Okay.
So two different publishers.
Okay. Nice. Did you go through agents or are these publishers that you contacted directly?
Um, the Winged Publications, I think I contacted myself. I saw them come up through ACFW, and I thought, oh, I'm going to check them out. My agent helped me get the first couple of books published with Elk Lake, and then she decided, she said, you really don't need me. How about if we just part ways? So we did.
Okay.
And
Hey, you don't have to pay her, I guess.
right, yeah. So yeah, that's
So you
how it
write
works.
two different genres, one but under the same pen name, Jane
I
Daly.
use my own name. I write, gosh, I have done this weird, like, I'm going to change lanes. I want to try to write romance. So I did. I wrote six romances. I'm going to try writing romantic suspense. So I wrote three. And then I'm like, I'm going back to women's fiction. I just want a full length women's fiction. And that's what I'm working on now. But I have to tell you this, I think this is funny. So was scrolling through Thomas Umstatt's social media thing, which is his circle, and I saw your podcast come up, Lipstick and
Yeah.
Pencils. So I'm like, oh, I don't know. That title is so cool because one of my romantic suspense is called Lipstick and Gunpowder. And I'm
Oh,
like,
really?
anybody who has a podcast called Lipstick and Pencils, I need to know her.
So funny. I see this the cover for that is probably my favorite cover of yours, the lipstick and
Oh,
gunpowder. That's
thank
very cool.
you.
But is that a romantic suspense?
It's romantic suspense,
Yeah, makes
and
sense.
there's three books in the series. The third one will be coming out around the time that this podcast airs. It's called Diamonds and Dynamite. It's part
Okay.
of the Gold Country series, so it takes place in the Gold Country of Northern California.
But modern times or
Yes,
past times?
modern
Okay.
times.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. We will definitely have the links to that in the show notes. But you basically like you got your second, so you got your nonfictions published 2015, 2016, and then since then you've been doing fiction.
Yes.
So how many books do you have out?
with this one that's coming out 17.
Okay, so let's talk.
Okay.
So how? Like, let's just start there. How do you get that many? Like, we talked a little bit about our favorite book, 2000 to 10,000, but how do you actually get 17 books written and out in, I'm trying to calculate, 8 years? Like, not even 8 years.
Yeah, something like that. Last year and the year before was a little crazy. I kind of I got ahead of myself, I think. So last summer, I just thought, I there's this new thing. It's a billionaire romance. Millionaire romances are now dead
I
because
know
nobody wants a
everyone's a
millionaire.
millionaire.
Everyone's a millionaire. Let's do a billionaire romance series. So
As
I
though
had
there's
already
so many
had,
billionaires in the world.
yeah,
It's so funny. It's like the Dukes, of the
I,
Regencies. Like there's like seven.
right,
There's not this many Dukes, but they're
right.
fun. They're fun. I
They're
love
fun.
it.
They're fun. I like romance. I'm a romantic at heart,
Hmm.
and I do read a lot of romances. But I had already had three books published with Winged Publications.
Hmm.
They're just romances, but they're from a Christian worldview, so they're all
Okay.
very inspirational. Closed Door. Uh, I don't even know if they kiss. I can't remember. Anyway, so I contacted Cynthia Hickey at Winged Publications and said, "Hey, I have this idea. It's a three-book series. Here's the three titles. What do you think?" And she said, "Here's a contract." So she immediately sent me a contract. And the way that Cynthia likes to do it is she likes to do rapid release. So like every 3 months, have one of your books come out. So now I'm under the gun having to get three books written within a very short period of time,
Like
which is
written and
where
then edited and then
written and edited and submitted. So I worked my little butt off
I bet.
writing those three books. Those all came out last year. But at the same time, I was still under contract with Elk Lake to do the three-book series, the Gold Country series. And I had written the first two. So there's five books that came out in 2025.
Oh my
So
God.
the third book in the Gold Country series that's coming out this year, I was way past contract date. So because I was burned out.
Yeah.
And I believe, there are people who can write that many books and maintain their sanity. I'm not one of them because at the end of last year, I hit a wall and I could not write anything.
Like
And
creativity wise, you couldn't
like
think.
creativity was gone. I
Mm.
couldn't think of a plot. And here I am, I'm 20,000 words into this book, this Diamonds and Dynamite, the third one in the series, the Gold Country series. And I'm like, I don't know where this is going. I hate it. I hate life. I never should have done this.
That's a
All
real
of the
burnout.
things,
I hate
all
life.
the things that you say. I hate my books. I hate my writing. I never want to do
I'm
this
no
again.
good. I don't know how
So
to
I
do this.
just, yes, I hope that your listeners are like, yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm regretting every single life decision that I've ever made. So I just said, I contacted my publisher, Elk Lake, and I said, I am sorry, but I just need some time. And they said, no problem. Whenever you get around to it is fine.
That's
So
nice.
I took probably a good 3 or 4 months off of writing, just really dabbled a little, wrote a
Was
few
that
blog
hard?
posts. No, it was so
Okay.
refreshing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did my newsletter. I did a couple of things on Substack. I read a ton and
Mm.
just was happy to not have that pressure.
Hmm.
I did finally finish the book. It is at the publisher. We're just waiting for the final edit before it's released. And I'm on to something else. And what I found is that having that constant pressure of a contract
Mm.
really stressed me out. And
Okay.
so it's not that I don't recommend people having a contract with a publisher. It's just that just be careful in knowing your own limitations. And
Yeah.
now I know my limitation. I can't do five
Yeah.
books in a year. I
Yeah, it's hard
maybe
to
two.
know it though before you do, but you get so excited. It's almost like if you had waited a few months to send the idea, right? But you get excited and you think like, well, this might take a while, and it didn't. And then you're kind of stuck.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I had written out the characters of all three
Right.
books in the Billionaire series, the characters, the plot, the subplot, the all of that in a
Right.
notebook. And yeah, I was really excited about. And I'm excited about the books, except for the third one. I feel like by the third one, I was like, eh, I'm done. I don't like this anymore. And same thing with this Gold Country series. Okay, eh, I, I finished it. It's not my best work, but I'm on to something else now. So
Yeah. Yeah.
now I'm back to writing strictly women's fiction, which I
And
think
standalones or series?
five, yes. I'm this might be a series. I haven't decided yet. I'm
Mm.
still muddling through. I'm about 70,000 words into it. And I had this brilliant idea of making it into a series, but that's one of those things that I'm not sure. You know, the creative mind is like having 50 million
I know
tabs
that's the
open on your
thing.
computer.
It's
Like, ooh,
honestly,
this
it's
could be a
hard.
series.
It
Yeah,
could be a series or like a multiverse.
yeah,
But I mean, it's almost like ideas are almost as bad as scrolling because they will come up when you're like in the hard part of a book and you'll be like, oh, squirrel, go chase this.
exactly.
And sometimes it's good and it's refreshing because you need a break. Um, but sometimes it's just distracting. So, what got you actually to sit back down and write? Like the refill, was it just a combination of rest and reading and all that? Do you think, or like what helps you actually get the plot together?
I use 3x5 cards to do plot planning.
Mm,
So I just sat down and wrote a whole bunch of ideas on 3x5
hmm
cards about what could happen next, what would be the next situation that my main characters would get into that would be difficult, what would keep them from getting their goal, and just started basically outlining. And then
hmm
because I have written so much and because I feel like I am a professional,
hmm
then I just sat down and said, I need to get this done. I'm
Yeah.
under contract. I
Yeah.
have an obligation to fulfill, and I'm going to get this done. And
hmm
that was my motivation.
Yeah. But sometimes writing is that, whether you're working for someone else or yourself, everything becomes a job at some point, right? Like, even if we
Yeah.
love it, there are points at which you have to say, no, sit down and write. I don't know about you, but whenever there's a moment when I get into flow that my brain goes, ooh, pretzels would be great right now. And there are times that I have to be like, no, like I'll literally stand up, audit, like without thinking and be like, what are you doing? Sit down. And that's just like the flesh human not wanting to do the hard thing, right? Like this is, I don't want to do the
Yeah.
hard thing. I need a snack. I need to do this. And you really have to resist that because in the end, it is a job. There is a part to it where it's like, it's like when people say, I only write when I'm inspired. It's like, that doesn't, no, that's not how this
That
works.
doesn't work.
No.
Well, and the other thing, one of the things that also helps me if I'm feeling unmotivated is
Mm-hmm.
I will set my timer on my phone for 20 minutes and say, okay, you know what? I only have to write for 20 minutes.
Right.
And then I can stop and go get a snack, get my pretzels or whatever, and then I can come back. And I find that if I do that, even when the timer goes off, I'm like, but I'm not done. So I
Yeah.
keep writing because I got to finish this
Right.
scene. And
Yeah.
like, okay, I did that. I can do that again. Let's do that again because that felt really good.
Right. Isn't that funny? Like we're so proud of ourselves when we finish writing, but
Yeah.
there's just this resistance as much as, and I hope this helps people listening. Like even if you're beginning, you're not, it's still like, whether for better or for worse, it still persists. Like there's still a moment. And I've talked to so many writers where like at some point you still have to sit down and you still have to force yourself to write. Some days are better than others, right? Like some.
Well, and the thing I think for everybody, even especially beginning writers, is celebrate your accomplishments. So maybe
Good
you can
point.
only write for 10 minutes at a stretch. Maybe it's 20 minutes is too much. write for 10 minutes and then pat yourself on the back and say, I did that. I wrote for 10 whole minutes without stopping. And
Right.
then do it again. And then the next day, increase it, do 15 minutes. We need to make sure that we celebrate ourselves, because
Yeah.
this is a solitary writing journey. Nobody's going to be standing over there going, yay, you did it, I'm going to give you a raise. It's not
Yeah.
like a job. You have to be able to have
Right.
enough self-awareness that you can say, good job, Jane,
Yeah.
you wrote for 20 minutes, you hated it, but you wrote 20 minutes. It's
I
probably going to
mean,
get
fair
shoved tomorrow.
point. Like, if you want to start training for a marathon, that's what they do, right? You run for 1 minute, you walk for two, you want, like whatever it is. I mean, and honestly, physically too, if you're just sitting down to start writing, your body is going to resist that. That is a position that you're not used to, sitting, writing. You really, we shouldn't think that we should sit for 5 hours. Like that's actually not really good for our brains or our bodies. But when you were writing these 5 books, were you working on one at a time or were you working on all of them at the same time?
One at a time.
Okay. Okay. Some people
I
like
I
some
I
people can
can't.
do
I can't.
several, some no. Would you
No,
get mixed up or do you just like not like that?
I just can't. I don't know. I just have never done that.
Yeah.
I am very goal oriented. So the goal is finish this book, then you can move on to the next one, because that one will be fun until it's not. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, exactly.
About, you get a third of the way in and you think, I hate this. I never
Yeah.
want to
What?
do this again. So, but in your mind, you're like, oh, but that next project, that new shiny thing that I haven't
Right.
started on, that's going to be good. But I have to finish this one
Okay.
first,
Yeah.
which I think for a new writer is probably the best advice, is
Yeah.
finish the thing first. What I found when I was first starting out is writing, I wrote articles and submitted them. Some got accepted and some didn't, but that gave me a really good impetus to say, okay, somebody actually wants to pay me $35 for this
Yeah.
300-word article. Woohoo.
Yeah.
I just got paid. I'm a professional author now. And
The
it gives you the
confidence.
encouragement that you need
Yeah.
along the way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that I mean, that's a great idea. There's actually quite a few online places always looking for people to submit things. Some of them pay, some of them don't, but even getting accepted is quite like, oh, look at that. They like my writing.
Yeah, they like my writing. They liked it enough to put it into print. And
Yes.
that is important.
Yes. I think that's very important to say, I am a writer. Look where I'm published right here. There's something to that. Just our ego, and we all have it. Like we all want to be validated on what we're doing. And writing is difficult. Like it's difficult to get that validation. There's a long time in between validation. So getting those little
Right.
wins is important.
And as a Christian author, you're not going to get wealthy doing
Mm,
this, because our readership is a lot smaller than the general public. If
mm-hmm.
I wanted to write steamy romances, I could probably make a lot more money, but I
Yeah.
don't want to do that.
Right.
This is my lane, and this is where God's called me, and this is where I'm going to stay.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Because
Things
you
are.
also write closed door. You write
I write
closed door
closer.
romance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
find
I like that.
I way in the beginning, because most of the like romances we grew up on were not closed door, so it didn't even occur to me. I don't know that there was Christian fiction growing up.
There, for me, there was not. It was
Yeah.
Harlequin or nothing.
Yeah, it was whatever grandma had on the shelf, quite frankly, like at the library. It never occurred to me, but things have gotten so raunchy that
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't interest me at all. I find it quite boring. I mean, it just like that's not the point to me. The story is like the tension of the two people. How are they going to figure it out to like
Mm-hmm.
live in a motorhome together and not kill each other?
Right.
Like
Right.
are they going to decide to choose each other? So yeah. So the market, I do think more and more people are at least being more vocal about kind of leaving, because it went from just spice steamy to like smut, and that's a
Mm-hmm.
whole different thing. And people, even my kids, I have 3 teenagers, they all look for things that don't have it, like they're oversaturated, which is a curious change. And I think our society in America shoots up and then shoots back down. We just go extreme on everything. So we'll see. We might actually have more market. You never know.
Well, that would be great.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
it
would
would
be
be
good.
it would be great. So when you said that you were on a social media fest, does that mean that you have built a platform for your writing off of social media, or are you on social media with that?
I have a newsletter that I send out monthly, and it's mostly about our travels, but at the bottom I usually have writing updates. I will
Mm-hmm.
talk about either a book that I highly recommend that I have absolutely loved, or um, one of my recent releases is on sale
Okay.
or something like that. So I have my newsletter, and then I have been doing Pinterest. So
Mm,
I'm kind of
really?
seeing how that works.
Yeah.
But what I tried to do is run a sale on one of my Kindle books for, say, $1.99, and I will advertise it on the Fussy Librarian or the Bookshelf or Faithful Reads or BookBub. Those are the four that I have used before. So, like, lowering the price on the first one of a series, and
Mm-hmm.
then I will shoot that out to social media. I do kind of spam social media when I do run a sale. And I have noticed, and I don't know if the sales are coming from social media or if they're
Yeah.
actually coming from one of those book um, things, but that has really helped. That helps
Okay.
spike sales for that period of
For
time,
your
and then
backlist.
hopefully they'll like it enough that they will want to read the next two in the
Yeah.
series.
Yeah. So as a traditionally published author, you still are kind of in charge of those sales and those promotions, I guess.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. I
Okay.
I contact the publisher and I say, hey, I'd like to run a sale on X date. Can you lower the price to
Okay.
$1.99 for this period of time?
Okay.
And they're both very willing to do that because they want to see you make sales as
They
well.
want to see that spike as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
But
do you still go ahead?
no, I was going to say the what I have found is the best place to sell books is in person. So
Oh.
most writers are introverts. So
Mhm.
yes, we have a difficult time talking to
Yes.
people most of the time.
What?
But I have some postcard size cards that I had made that have just a sampling of four of my books along with a QR code that takes you to Amazon. And I will say, if I'm at the doctor, I will say, hey, do you know of anybody who likes to read? Oh, yeah, I love to read. What do you like to read? Well, I like to read, blah, blah, blah. Well, here, let me give you my card and see if any of these look interesting to you. And that's it. Then you're done. So I have done that at the grocery store. I've done it at the hair place. I do it sometimes when people come into the campground. If they're wearing a cross necklace, I'll say,
Mhm.
"Hey, do you like to read? Yeah, I love to read. Do you let me get you my card?" And I'll hand them a card.
I think
It's
some people
it's
are breaking out in sweats as they listen to you say this shit.
well, I'm I am going to tell you that I do break out in sweats, but you do have to do
But
it.
you do
It's
it.
a way to get your name out there because you know how solitary we are. We sit in our
Yeah.
little hovel and we pound out words, and then when we peek our head out like Phil on the Groundhog Day. Oh, there's people. There's people
Yes.
out here.
Yes. And you know what's
I
so
have to
funny?
interact.
We make it such a big deal, but most people are like, "Oh, cool." Like not most like I've never encountered someone who's like, don't care." Or like it's super
Right.
rude about it. Now, whether they take the card and toss it, I don't know, but most like to my face, they're not rude. So it's weird how we build it up as such a big deal in our head. But the
Yeah.
more you do something, the less scary it is, sort of.
Yeah. No, I would agree with you. I think that even if you only have one book,
Mhm.
put that on a card and hand it to people. Make sure that either a QR code or link or something,
Yeah.
link to your website, whatever it is, so that people can find you. Otherwise, you're going to languish out there with the 250,000 uh, novels that are published every single day on Amazon.
I know. Is that not insane? That's
It is, I don't
so
know the number, but it is
crazy.
a ridiculously
It's
large
a
number.
ridiculously large number. I don't know. It's so. overwhelming to even think of. So, so you are on your own for marketing, or do they also do marketing with
I'm
you?
pretty much on my own. The
Okay.
um
Like after the
Elk
book launch, or are you also on your own for the book launch?
on my own for the book launch.
Really?
So
Okay.
Elk Lake has a an author page, and they will put out your new release when it comes out, and then they also do another social media post like books published this month, and they'll have my book on there if it's published that month, or books published this quarter.
Hmm.
Winged Publications does not have that. They do have a newsletter, so they will send out a newsletter, but it's pretty much to all their authors. But they offer something unique in that I'm part of a group that we read each other's books
Oh,
and
fun.
then we leave a review. So
Okay.
it's you get your book reviewed, I review somebody else's book just
Okay.
to kind of help.
Yeah.
But
Reviews are a
but
pain.
uh, it's so hard to get people to leave a review. Oh, I
So
loved your
hard.
book. Did you leave a review? No.
Just a star. Just choose the stars. Just choose the
Yes.
stars. Go this way. Go that way. On this scale of the stars. I know it's really hard, and a lot of people are really anti-Amazon now. And I'm begging my newsletter this week of like really, it really is incredibly helpful to leave some reviews. Like we really can't get past. That's just if you only have 10 reviews, you just can't
Right.
move anywhere.
It's impossible. Amazon used to be 50 reviews and it would start to help promote your book. Now it's 100.
Right. It
And
has to be. There's too many books published every day.
well, right. I'm thinking in my next newsletter, I'm going to put out here are a couple sample templates that you can use for your review. I liked this book because
Yeah. I've heard people
X.
do that actually. And
Yeah.
it's not telling them what to do, but yeah, it helps because some people, and I always tell people it's great if you want to leave words. I love reading them, like what you liked,
Mm-hmm.
what you thought was okay or whatever. But you only have to, you can also just click 4, 5, 3 stars. Please don't click one or two. just my like,
So,
opinion.
do you read your reviews?
I do. I like reading them.
I do too, but some people don't, and some people
I
recommend
would
that
I
you
would
do not read
recommend
them.
I would recommend for most people not to. It can really bring your day down. But some people are so funny. Like I have a 1 star review because she didn't like a sentence. And it was and she was like her heels clicking against the marble. Like, what is that about? It's just like, wow, that's harsh. Like, so I'm just like,
Gee,
yeah. So I brought it up on my TikTok. It's like, okay, like clearly you have the freedom to do whatever you want, but wow.
but Thomas Umstattd says that even one star reviews help. He said
Yeah,
they're more helpful than a 3 star review.
yeah,
So there you go. You just
yeah. I think
raise
a
your
lot of people will
credibility.
see that and be like, that's kind of lame. Um, I do think I don't talk about this with other readers a lot, but I think Goodreads people think that they know a lot because they read and they don't actually know a lot. Because a lot, I will read other people's reviews too. I mean, every book, you might love the book and then you'll go and be like, 3.5 stars? Are you serious? And it's because they didn't vibe with it. And you
Yeah.
think that's not what a review is. A review is like, is this well written? Is it a well thought out story? Is it, depending on the genre, did I vibe with it or not? Just set it aside. I mean, that's just my opinion. And it's always been like, okay, if I didn't like love it, then it's more of a me issue. Unless it's terribly written. And even then I don't give out less than 3 ever. If I didn't like it, I just won't ever say anything about it.
I'm
Um,
the same.
but they really think they're like New York Times editorial critiques. It's just like, and they'll spew out words sometimes. Like one lady, I mean, she looked like a young woman. A book that I had read, she's like, it was more showing than telling, or telling than showing. And I was like, this is ton of French. Like, no, like, no, stop talking. Like, don't say. So anyway, I think you have to find the humor in it. I think if you can't confront your reviews, you have to at some point understand that your book is not for everyone, and that's okay. And
And
I
thank
think,
goodness for that.
no
Yeah.
kidding. Do not send your book out to people who are on social media just talking about books a lot. Like, make sure that they know what kind of books you write. And I mean, yeah, if you go through life without ever reading your reviews, that's fine. But the thing is, you have to know how many are there. So then you see the stars, so it's not like you can
Mhm.
avoid it constantly. You have to run promotions. You have to get your backlist moving. You have to be seen throughout all the noise. So, I mean, you might as well just face it head on.
No, I agree. I had somebody leave a review for one of my books that said she used too many words that I did not know the meaning to. Like, well, okay
Okay.
then.
But again,
So,
that says
so
more
what
about
I
her than
did,
you.
yes, but what I did, because I thought it was kind of funny, because I was accused of the same thing at work. They were, when I was working at a bank, they're like, we
She has a
sometimes don't know.
vocabulary.
Yeah, I'm like, your vocabulary. So anyway, in the next book that I wrote, which is called Where is My Sister, I made this gal have almost an eidetic memory, which means that she could remember specific dates, but it wasn't date related, it was all word related. She
Oh,
had
that's funny.
memorized the entire 365 word of the day calendar. And so she continually would use these words, but I had her in her mind use the word and then give the definition. It was like,
That's smart.
poke you in the eye, lady who doesn't have a good vocabulary,
Here, I'll
who
help you out.
commented, yes, we are going to make sure that you know the what this word means.
But isn't that funny? These days, people will just freely admit that. Oh, I don't like this because she uses big words. It's like,
Yeah,
I mean, 20 years ago, nobody would have admitted that. So I don't know. It's very strange.
grab a dictionary. It's
Literally,
okay.
literally on your Kindle, it has
Yeah.
a built-in. Oh my gosh.
Okay. I will try to dumb it down. No, I'm not going to do
No,
that.
no.
We
I
are
mean,
not
it's just,
dumbing
it's
down.
funny. I mean, that's where I think instead of having something fearful about reviews, if you just find the humor in it and just realize, okay, well, that person must have had a bad day. Like, it's okay.
Yeah.
And the majority of your reviews are going to be 4, 3, some 5s. But that's true. If you do publish the very first book you ever write without any sort of craft book reading, it might be less than that, but that would be something to learn from. So,
It's all a learning experience. I
right.
think you have to take those reviews with a grain of salt
Yes.
and know that, like you said, maybe they were having a bad day. Who knows? And sometimes you can learn from it. Sometimes you can read those and go, "Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I need to be careful of that
Yep.
particular
Yeah.
issue."
But definitely don't like make that the main point. I remember years ago, people are like, read your reviews to know what you did wrong. I'm like, no, the book should not be out. You think something's wrong. I was just like, that seems like terrible advice. Um,
Yeah.
no, no, please get help and get it edited and find out what's wrong with it beforehand.
First.
So, can
Yeah.
you tell us again what is the name of the book coming out now as this podcast goes out?
The name of the book is called Diamonds and Dynamite. It
Oh,
is a
I love
romantic
it.
suspense that takes place in the gold country of Northern California, specifically in Ione. And it's very much ranch country. And so you have the former FBI agent who's taking on a role as sheriff, interim sheriff for the Jackson County Sheriff's Department. But
Okay.
she has her mother with her who is suffering from dementia.
Oh,
So there's a diamond heist, there's dynamite blowing up, and you've got the police officer who's taking a break who they end up crashing together. And how do they find love in the midst of a kidnapping and a diamond heist and dynamite blowing things
wow.
up? So,
I mean, it sounds amazing. That's awesome. So we will have the link in the show notes below, and then you have 16 other books or 17 other books that people can go and check out.
yes, I have a lot of other books, and I would love it if you would all check them out. If you like reading good, clean Christian fiction, women's fiction specifically, then check out my Amazon page. You'll find what you like.
Yes, and we will have
Hopefully.
links, the links
And
to
we
your
shall leave
newsletter.
reviews. We shall
Yes,
leave
and
reviews.
please, thou shalt leave reviews. Yes. Um, and then we'll have janesdaily.com, but we'll have it in the show notes below as well. So you guys can check out her website where you can see all her books, or her Amazon site. But thank you so much, Jane, for coming and chatting. I feel like we could just chat for a long time.
Oh, this has been really fun. My husband asked me today, well, what are you going to talk about? And I was like, I don't know.
I
We're
don't
just
know.
going
We'll
to
figure it
talk.
out.
He's like, okay, well, I'm going to go to the store. Good.
Two
Go,
gals who
go.
like writing. You can't shut us up.
Yeah. All
Well,
right.
thank you
Well,
so
thanks,
much.
Kat. It was awesome.
Have
Talk
a
to you
great
soon.
bye.
All right. Bye.